And we're live.
Hello.
What is up? Welcome to the conversations that matter.
So it's like, yeah, I think eventually we'll have to come up with a better name for it, like
Since Gary
something
Vee
that
stole it
rhymes
from
better.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah, he did. I
How are
think,
you?
yeah, but yeah, I think I will find something better eventually. I think.
Definitely.
So what's up?
I'm good. It's my birthday. It's my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
How
a
old are
year
you?
older.
Are you turning 24, right?
Yep. A year
Wow.
older, a year wiser, a year more beautiful than what I was.
Of course, yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
More mature, yeah.
yeah. And as you can see for the people watching the video right now, we're still here because every Tuesday this thing will happen. So thank you for being on the journey with us, and let's get started, bro.
All right. I have birthday related questions for you.
Ooh, please
Yeah, yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So now you're 24.
Yeah,
Okay. How do you feel like you are? Like, what age do you feel you are?
12.
12. Of course.
Nah, I'm kidding. Well, I'd say that I don't feel like being, super old and stuff like that. I mean, I'm still young. What the fuck? But I would say that this is a really good turning point because I'm starting to realize things about myself. The things we discuss off the stage, and I don't know. I think I have many things to do. I mean, I'm really young and I'm full with energy, full with happiness, full to get ready for what comes in front of me, and full to conquer my dreams, my goals, my day, and to become the man that I deserve to be and the man I dream of being. So, yeah, GG, happy days.
All right. So age is not, it's irrelevant, you think, right?
For sure, for sure.
All right.
As as Gary Vee said on his video, if you the one I tagged you, he said that no matter if you're 20, 40, 50, you still feel young. He said that I just turned 40 and I still feel the energy. You cannot imagine how young 40 years old people feel. So the only difference is that you have less time, uh, left for you. Just give me a second to put my charger because I forgot to charge my laptop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Take it on
Uh,
you.
yeah, yeah. But there is also another saying that goes like um, something along the lines of uh, people die when they're 70, but they've been already dead for 50 years, in a way, something like that. Which goes to say that there's like a huge difference between the outlook that you have on your life, like the way you approach things and the level of energy and optimism and positivity that you approach your life with, and it has a direct correlation with like how alive you really are, and the next question I have for you is, what was your biggest mistake while you were 23 years old?
A lot of mistakes have been made. Uh, I don't think that I regret anything, to be
No, no, I
honest.
didn't say regret. I said mistake.
That's exactly why my response, because I think that a mistake will be when you don't do something and then you regret of doing it. Whereas I did things, I did a lot of things, I did a lot of mistakes, but number one, as you know, I always say failure is my best friend. So for me, it's like a success. And apart from that, No, I prefer being guilty of doing things that I want than feeling regretful for the things that I didn't.
All right. So, what was your biggest success?
I fucking hate you. Okay, my biggest success in terms of failing. Ah,
No, like your biggest success, like something went very right with your business, with your
well,
education,
I think
your
a
relationship.
seminar that happened like in Budapest was really, really good. Was really successful, and I really felt like being in the moment. And there are some, like a few of the speeches that I gave that really stayed into my mind, and I really enjoyed them. And I think this one was number 2 in my whole life, and that will be a success that I'm super happy. Maybe in terms of failure, I would say that I should have chased, probably. Let's go deep into love now. There was a girl that I liked, and for any reason, anyway, we broke up, and I should have chased her, not chased her. Should have tried to maybe
Persist.
express my
Yeah.
feelings after breaking up, because I was kind of holding myself for to tell her, from telling her how these things affected me. But I would say that I should have either way went there and told her that, what, when you did this, I felt like this. But either way, I'm super grateful for everything that we lived. I know that it's over, and you cannot remake the glass when it's broken.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
So I don't regret the fact that we went on separate roads. I mean, all the things happen for a reason. But I do regret maybe the fact that I should have tried a little bit more to express my thoughts after this relationship, let's say.
So essentially, you regret not losing the relationship, but not being yourself in a way.
No, not expressing
Your intention.
fully. No, no, yeah, not expressing my thoughts of the breakup to her.
Ah, okay. Okay, I got it. All right.
Yeah.
So, but do you think that like you'll get another chance to do it?
I think I may. Like,
So it's
if
not
I.
like a done matter. It's not a closed deal, you know.
No, 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 not at all. I mean, everything finished really peacefully, but we just didn't have the chance to talk. And I always try to do that, no matter if he's my male friend, my female friend, or my female girlfriend. I always try to.
What about your male boyfriend?
I don't have a male boyfriend. I have a lot of male friends, though. I have some people that are cheating on me on Instagram, and it's starting getting a little bit weird.
I have the same thing. Yeah.
But yeah, I try to evade this question as politely as possible. And yeah, pretty much that's it.
I draw like I like the intention though. It's like
Boom.
because think of it like that. Like how often do you get hit on by women? That's very rare, right?
You can talk about yourself, bro.
Yeah, it's like 99% of the time we make the first step when
Yeah, yeah.
we want to talk to women. But you see, it's actually flattering in a way, you know. And I think that even though I don't have any gay tendencies or I really don't want to, I'm not bisexual or anything like that. I still find it flattering. Like there's a person, like he finds some kind of sexual attraction in a way. I don't know, and I think that's interesting in a way. And when they express it like on Instagram DM, I'm like, all right, okay, good. If that floats your boat, I don't know what the fuck.
Well played. Well played. Yeah.
Well played, yeah. And by the way, I know a lot of gay people, and the to my knowledge, I don't want to offend anyone, but to my knowledge and to the extent of my knowledge, like they have an easy time finding sexual partners,
Yeah,
because for the people that have come out of the closet, like the expression, like for those that they have publicly admitted that they are gay, and like they've liberated themselves in a way, then they have given a huge permission to themselves to express their sexuality, okay, and this like creates a very open society of interactions between all of these people that are gay. And I think this is why one of the reasons, like I think that they have an easy time finding partners.
yeah, for sure. I guess first of all, we need to respect, this move, because unfortunately or fortunately, depends. We don't live in the most, like, maybe Greece. Okay, in terms of Greece is not like the most open-minded country in terms of gay and straight. There are a lot.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It's very homophobic as a country. But I would say that huge respect to the people that that had the balls, literally had the balls to go out and say that, what, yeah. But apart from that, it's, I think what matters is because exactly it's like on the, how can I express, like it's not something on the, what's the word, man? Damn, my Greek temperament hit again. In the status quo, boom.
All
Okay,
right.
because it's not in the status quo. I think that it's like then for them they're more open-minded and open sexually also as well. So maybe it's because of that. But of course, we do not condemn anyone for their sexual, tendencies and sexual preferences. The thing is that what matters is that having the ability to be fully true with yourself, to feel free to love yourself above all, and then love the others. And yeah, I would say that it's a pity that many people are afraid of just admit it.
Yeah, I agree.
I have a question for you,
All right.
and that was something I was thinking about yesterday, because like I read like an article about what Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, I think, do in order to relax apart from meditation and reading books. They say they wash their dishes. So while I was washing the dishes, at some point I was literally in the moment, and I remember that tomorrow, I mean today, we have our podcast, so we were gonna have a talk, and this thing came to my mind. So I would like you to tell me, what was your first impression of me when you first met me back in the school. And then I'm gonna say as well, for the people that don't know, Stratis and I, we know each other since 12 years old. I think we used to be on the same bus from
No,
school.
6 years old. First grade.
6 years. Oh shit, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
6 years old.
Yeah, 6 fucking years old. Damn. First impression of me, and I'm asking you really pointed, because there's an important thing that I want to address afterwards.
Well, looking back, it's hard to remember, but I think that my first impression of you is like sort of the same impression that I still have for you, but now it's more refined in a way. But I'd say that my first impression was that you were a sort of a kid who was like over the top, very high energy, and like extroverted and joyous, and sometimes stupid and stuff. Like a person with such a high energy that acted before he thought. Not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel
Okay.
like you were like a very high energy person to be around.
Apart from that, like in terms of something negative, weird, somehow, like
Negative, I don't
any
know.
second
I'd
thought.
say that the negative would be that was the one I just told you, like kind of not very smart. But if you judge it from the perspective of the first impression, like
Yeah, yeah.
like your behavior says that you are high energy, you want to attract attention, you want to make people laugh, you want to make fun of yourself at the same
Mm-hmm.
time and stuff like that. And even though that's ultimately a sign of intelligence, of emotional intelligence, uh, in my mind at the time, people that didn't think before they acted were stupid.
Yeah.
But there are different types of intelligence, and I grew to learn that like over time. So I'd say
Mhm.
that yeah, that was really like some sort of negative for you.
Yeah. For
And
me,
sorry,
yeah, sorry.
and when I got to know you a little better, I'd say
Yeah.
that one of the negative things about you that like they were for my eyes they were obvious. I don't know for other people. It was like that you had like an underlying insecurity, okay, and this manifested itself as something that in the way of like you are asking people their opinions about yourself, but like in a way that you were trying to either fish for compliments, or you tried to make you wanted to say something about yourself, but you didn't have the balls to do it in a straight way, and you did it indirectly by asking people's opinions. Yeah, something like that. I
Yeah.
think you get it. I think you get what
Yeah,
I mean.
definitely. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
For me, I would say, first of all, Stratis is like 2 meters high. I don't know. She's like one of the tallest people I know. And, I remember him like going into the bus and, she was walking and she was like kind of crawling not to hit his head
Oh, yeah, yeah, on the roof of the bus.
on the
Yeah.
roof of the bus. Yeah. So I was looking at him and I was like, I don't know, this guy is a bit boring and I don't like this guy at all. And, I was like, it's not like I had like something negative against you, but I just thought that you're not like my cup of tea in terms of someone I could hang out.
At what age was that?
I would say
Or between like what ages?
I won't
Throughout?
I will not say while we were in school because I didn't have, I think, the ability of judging anyone. I was just playing Ipera 2 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I would say in like maybe till 16 years old,
Hmm.
I had this opinion about you, and I was like, yeah, that's a guy I could never hang out with. He's a bit weird,
I thought exactly the same for you. Like I could never hang out with you. I knew it. Yeah,
and
exactly.
and that's the thought that came back to my mind yesterday. That shit, because we had a conversation yesterday for 1 hour and 15 minutes. We have another conversation for 2.5 hours on Sunday, and we talk every day on Facebook right now. And basically, this is the thing that struck me really, really deep. That you know, when you judge someone without really getting to know him, you will 100% misjudge them. Maybe your intuition is right, but I would say that most of the times you cannot know that. It's impossible to know. It's impossible to be aware how the other person is because he might has his insecurities that he puts as a shield in order to protect himself from the other people. So he projects another personality than the one that he actually or she actually is. Or maybe he feels shy, or maybe he doesn't want to make the first move to get to know someone. But in reality, if you open up yourself to other people, if you express yourself, if you at least spend the time with a person and be honest with yourself and with him, in order to get to know him, you will see that you can get along with many people. Not really good bond, but you will get along with people. And basically, the one that I want to, the point I want to finish with is that don't judge people on the first impression. Keep it, have it in your back of your mind, but never, ever, ever say that, no, that's not the guy that I could hang out with. He's really weird. Look at him. I mean, look at us now. We do this podcast. We had the business that we were trying to build last year. We talk every day on Facebook. We tag each other to people's video. And, you know, we know each other for who we are. So I would say that it's crazy. And that's what was in your thesis at late in the night does to your brain.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I think it's a matter of two things. One thing is common interests, and the other thing is open-mindedness. And the first thing is obvious. Like, if you have common interests, then this means that you have something to talk about with each other. But the second thing is that is the trigger of the interaction. It's like, if you're open-minded enough to understand that interacting with a certain person will bring value to both of you, and you will positively influence each other and grow together over time, then you will you have to forget about your prejudices in order to move on, you know. And if you didn't, then what would happen is that you would hang out with only your cup of tea, and I would hang out only with my cup of tea, and it would be like I'd say our margins of growth, they would be very, very narrow. All right, we would not expand like that. And now we are expanding, because don't get me wrong, we are still very fucking different, okay? And I feel the difference when we talk and the way we behave in certain situations, and there is a huge difference between us. But at the same time, there is a huge common ground, and this is where we focus. And this is like the main problem with racists or homophobics or people who have like these kind of prejudices. They only focus on what's different, and they refuse to find common ground.
True. That's a nice one. Bro,
yeah.
Do you know who is live with us today?
Live with us?
Watching right now.
Watching right now? No, who?
Pavlos.
All right. Hello.
Hey, bro. Good to have you here with us.
Nice. Another question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that today's your birthday, all right? How
like these questions? Yeah, tell me. I'm kidding.
How are you looking forward to the next 24 years of your life?
Ooh, that's a nice question indeed. When you say how do I look forward?
First of all, how do you hope it goes, and how do you predict it goes?
Okay.
Like, there's a really high optimistic standard, and then there is something that, if you think about like your fears and things that probably will hold you back, then the more realistic standard.
Okie dokie. So the next 24, fuck, that's a lot of time. So when I am 50 fucking years old.
48, yeah.
40. Sorry. Sorry, Professor. When I'm 48 years old, that's a great podcast today. I don't believe it. So when I'm 48 years old, I guess that, well, I hope, no, I will be back home, back to Greece, because I want to live abroad, but not for a long time. At least I want my base to be back to Greece with my friends, with my country, with my language, with everything.
Will you have a family? Question. Let me guide you.
I would say
Let me
yes,
guide your
yes,
process. You
yes,
have a
yes,
family. Okay.
yeah,
So
and
a
kids as
wife,
well.
right? Not a husband.
Of course, man. I'm 100% straight. Don't
All right.
listen to this guy.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Not even like a very handsome dude from Instagram approaches you.
Of course, not from the
All right.
Instagram.
All right. So you will have a wife and how many children?
Two?
Look, I know that you like the process of having children, okay?
I
But
do.
yeah, but there is also a practical limitation.
I'd say I want at least two, a boy and a girl. I want a girl because I think that a girl is so deep. I never had a sister. I never had a brother. Okay, so for me, if I have a children, I have a kid, I would like him share to have another sibling. Because
Okay.
I won't say that I had a bad time on my own. Of course, I had a lot of love from my family. I had a lot of friends, but still, I see all these brothers, sisters, siblings together having good conversations, having fun, and I'm kind of jealous that I didn't have this as well. Like, still on this day, I'm thinking, that would be so cool having a little brother or a little sister that while we're young, we hit each other all the time, but then we really build a strong bond. And
Can I interrupt you here?
yeah,
Okay. I think this is a this is a case of like the grass is always greener on the other side thing. I have a
yeah,
brother. All right. So like my first piece of advice to you would be that if you want to have more like than one child, don't uh, don't make them more than 3 years apart from each other, or like something,
okay.
because then there will be a gap.
What's the difference you have with your brother?
6 years.
6 years.
6 years, yeah. He's 6 years older. Um, it was very hard for me to hang out with my brother because of the age difference. And in a way, he substituted, in some ways, he substituted my father because he was that much older than me. Okay. And because of that, it was hard, at least in the beginning stages of my life, to approach my brother as a friend, like you said that,
Yeah, I see.
so what you're imagining it would be, it wasn't like for me the case. And I think it's the same thing for most people with siblings that are very, that like the age difference is big between them. And you have to keep that in mind. Okay. So continue.
So yeah, two kids. I will definitely 100% have a dog. This goes without saying. Children or not, wife or not, I will have a dog, man.
How
That's my
big?
dream
How big
since I
the
was a
dog?
child,
Okay.
and I never, I never had dog. I only had cats my whole life.
All
Those
right.
creatures. I love cats as
How
well,
big of
but
a dog do you want? Like, is there a size requirement or
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
species race requirement?
I'd say that I want the how is it called? Shepherd,
The Greek or the German?
German.
German Shepherd dog. Okay.
Or
Nice.
husky, but I'm really afraid because of the environment, of
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Greece,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's gonna suffer, so probably not.
So you
So
want like a big dog, right? Not
yeah,
these little things that
no, no, no,
they
that
put
goes
out.
on my backpack, and
I have exactly the same sentiment. Like, if I also like dogs very much. I prefer them to cats. And if I ever have a dog, I want it to be so big that there is actually a probability that it would go crazy and be able to eat me. Like, I want it to be as big as possible, like a fucking bear.
oh my god, Chow Chow breed.
Oh yeah. With the purple tongue, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I love this. I love these dogs. Yeah, I love
no,
them.
that's too much fair for
Yeah,
me.
true.
But yeah, German Shepherd will be, or a Labrador, because I want them
Okay,
to be
yeah.
smart as well. I don't want to be, hey, don't pee on the floor, and this looks me and start, playing. No, when I say something, you will go to the toilet, you will lift up the thing, and you will do your pee over there.
German Shepherds are really smart. So, and also Greek Shepherd dogs are very smart.
Yeah, that's why
So
I'm thinking
you won't
about it.
have a problem, I think. Yeah. Okay.
Then, in terms of
Yeah,
house
yeah.
on a house on the beach, so I
Like
can.
in Glyfada, south suburbs of Athens.
Depends on the country I'll end up, because I don't know exactly where I'm gonna be. I would like to be back home, but maybe not Glyfada. Maybe have like a second house on an island next to the sea with a huge, terrace and balcony, and having the ability to read my books, meditate, watch the sunset, watch the sunrise, drink a bottle of wine with my wife, enjoy the sea, these kind of things, because I love the sea. Like, we are born in one of the most beautiful countries of the world, with one of the most beautiful environments that is like definitely circled by sea. So I love sea. I want to see sea. And every time I go to an island and I live in a hotel or in a place next to the sea, I always imagine myself having this exactly house. So that will be as well. And then in terms of job, I would say that I can imagine myself traveling a lot, and either running a company, like big company, or like giving speeches, or do it together, like being the CEO of a company, and that gives me the opportunity to speak a lot, because I just can feel myself, like there's nothing better to me than putting me on the stage and let me speak. I feel so free, man. And it's not only in terms of that reminds me the fact that when I was really young I was shy, so I kind of remind myself that what, you won your insecurities and your fears, because fear is still there. I still feel uncomfortable sometimes, but in terms of that, I really feel alive. And the number one moment I remember on my life that was like the biggest mind blown experience when was like, you remember Athens Science Festival?
Yeah.
Were you there?
No, I watched it on the video.
So it was 700 to 800 people, and I remember myself before going to give a talk, I was scared shitless. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna die over there. There is no chance.
They're gonna crucify you. Yeah.
Yeah, kill me now before I go there. And the moment I get there, and I remember myself opening, no, not open, starting speaking. The moment I start looking the audience in the eyes, I took such a positive energy from them that really I was like, I was in the flow. I had such a great time, and I really felt alive at this moment. And it's, for some people that's the thing. For some other people can be like, or some, for me, but for me that's the one. It's like having this opportunity to do it as often as possible, and battling my fears and basically helping people, because I think that's where it comes from. It comes from the fact that I want to help people that are the way I used to be, to change, because I think change is possible if you have the right mindsets, if you have the right mentors, if you have the right people around you. Change is definitely possible. The thing is that we think that because we were born with a problem, or we were born with some insecurities or with some fears, these stay with us. But in reality, this is not true. If we start battling and competing and challenging ourselves every single day, these things disappear very easy. But you have to pay the price, right? You have to pay the dues. You have to try. You have to hustle. You have to fail. And I'm willing to take all these risks as long as I do the thing that makes me feel alive.
Okay, I get it. I have a question. Uh, you said about like having a business and traveling to speak,
Yeah.
right? I was thinking today about business stuff, all right? And it came to me that having a business, okay, can mean certain things. And one of these things is that you will have to uh, have partners on the one hand and employees on the other,
Yeah.
unless you want to be like a solopreneur completely, all
Okay.
right? And in which case you only have like external partners. Do, do you imagine yourself like being a good leader for your business?
Yeah, I do.
And do you find it like comfortable enough of a daily like routine to manage all these things?
Yeah, I won't say it's something hard. I mean,
Like, does it add stress to your mind, or do you find it like as a necessary process in order to create wealth?
I would say that since I will be also involved in the whole process of, recruiting the people, it will be my decision. So I will make sure as much as I can, that I'll choose the right people to surround me and support me and cooperate with me and work for me. But I don't know if I would like to have a partner on business in terms of, because I've been there. I don't have like the best experience from the correct partners, but I know that it's important to know who to choose and trust. Because the last time I had like a quote unquote company, let's say, I kind of misjudged the people that I work with, and that we basically were four CEO, four people and four CEO, and you cannot, take the necessary steps if you all have the same role and the same amount of authority in the group. Unfortunately, because one people, yeah, can do what he needs to do, because he doesn't have to, dispute with a co CEO for that. But if there are like four people, and eventually they will there will be groups, subgroups be created. There will be rivalries. Then the more money is involved, the more fame is involved. People are starting getting crazy with that and obsessed. So your death is their life sometimes. But it all comes to knowing how to choose the right people to surround yourself. And since I did that mistake, I said to myself that that's not gonna happen, and it's definitely not. Like, at least I'm gonna do my best of choose wisely the people that I work with.
Okay, okay. Because I was having the same inner conversation, and it came to me that I really don't like to like manage people, you know, and I'd rather be in a very small group. And this has also, of course, this has implications on like how how much money am I going to be able to make, and like what kind of activity I can engage in, right? Because if you are soloing things, sometimes that means that you may have more or less of types of freedom, I guess, degrees of freedom. When you want to travel, you want to do nothing, and there is also like the moment that you stop working in a way, then that's the same moment that you stop making money. But if you have like a very huge team with you, then this is not the case. but then you have to pay it with your energy to create the team and to create an environment. But
Yeah.
I think this is also like a very big commitment, right? Like imagine like you create a tribe of people that you work with, okay, and then it's like you are too much committed to it. Do you understand? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like there is a 0% chance that 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 this won't occupy part of your brain, you know, when you wake up. And even though like you say that you will be completely zen and take the week off, the weekend off, then on the back of your mind, look, you know, there is still the responsibility of all these people, because like you are the last line of defense for them, you know. You have the entire responsibility. If it goes to shit, like it's your fault, you know. You cannot blame your employees or your partners. I think it's like 100% your responsibility. And I believe that there are some people, and this is why I'm asking you. I don't know if you are that kind of person, like that there are some people that they can't live with this amount of responsibility. And I think this is like one of the biggest reasons, that and fear, that they don't want to start their own business. Like they're not ready to take up the responsibility.
No, for me that's not the case. Like I tend to believe into people. I believe into collaboration, cooperation. That's the way to go forward. But in terms of responsibility, as long as it's something that I like, I love, and enjoy doing, I don't care how much time it's gonna take me to build it and how much energy I'm gonna have to to give into that. As long as it's something that really makes me, gives me the goosebumps every time I'm thinking about doing it. So for sure, I want people with me, like solopreneurship, if that's the way to say that. I don't think that's for me. I want people. I want teamwork. I like, having the meetings, discussing, solving problems. Okay, it's the engineer inside me. I like to think, to put things into little boxes. I like to, to try to find solution even if there is no solution into the problem and stuff like that. So I won't say no to a team. Now, how big, how small, how experienced or not, these are things that I cannot like predict. And to be honest, I don't want to predict. I want to be like, discovering throughout the journey and through failure and trying again and again. And I'm just grateful for, what this happened to me already, because, you don't know how much time you have left. So, I would say that.
How do you define work-life balance? Like for you, what is work-life balance? Like on what basis do you judge your balance? Like,
okay, I'm confused. What do you mean balance? Like how much time?
work-life balance, like let's say that like I come to and I say to your face that Yannis, you are a workaholic. What's your
Yeah.
reaction to that? Do you think like, yeah, I'm workaholic? Do you think like, yeah, this is like the lifestyle I choose? Do you think like, oh, maybe he's right, maybe I should rest a bit more? Like, how do you define work-life balance? Like in terms of hours, in terms of energy, in terms of like motivation, in terms of like ROI, how do you define it? Like what's the balance for you?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, I think that as long as, for example, I do a lot of things right now. I'm doing my PhD, I'm doing the videos, branding, da da da. But I don't feel tired from doing this because, I don't feel like a workaholic, even though sometimes I work a lot. Even though, today it's my birthday, I'm gonna edit some videos. But, it doesn't feel to me like, oh my God, I'm a workaholic, I'm working on my birthday. No, I mean, fuck that. Since it's, I know where exactly I want to be, so I just, reconstruct, reconceptualize, and recontextualize. I love my vocabulary for a Greek guy. As long as I do that, I can find my way there. So I won't say that I'm a workaholic, even though I love working. I won't say that it's like it depends on the hours, but I would say that it's a matter of philosophy. Like, it's a part of who I am. I always loved, to hustle, to say this catchy phrase, right? I always like to hustle and to make stuff and to try to find solutions. So it's not that, as long as I also respect, the people that are part of me, like, my family. Like, that's also really important. Not to neglect my children, okay, not to neglect my wife, because what you neglect neglects you back, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And since I make the conscious decision of being together, really being together with a woman in my life, I need to make sure that I respect her time and her life. And if and when, I have the chance of raising children, I need to make sure that the things that I need to be instilled into them by me happens. Like
that you are present.
that I'm present, yeah, because I had the chance having both of my parents being present to my life, and I think that's part of, that it really like made me who I am. The love I received from a very early age, the fact that my parents are together since they're like 18 gave me like a really good model of how things can work. The thing that the way that my parents support each other, the way that, for example, even though, for example, my father is a professor and he has a lot of work that needs to do, and I was thinking about it a few days ago, and while I was like from 12 till 70 years old, I was doing football, I was playing football, I was learning football, and every Saturday he would go with me on the stadium and drink coffee while watching me playing football. And this was like really,
A
his
ritual,
way. Yeah, it's like a way that I want to treat my own children as well, give them the opportunity to learn stuff, and also the insatiable want that I have as a person to learn came from the fact that, okay, it's not DNA. Maybe it's also DNA. I'm supposed to be like that. I don't know. And of course, I need to say that I have a lot of faults, okay? Because I talk only about my positives right now. But, of course, have many
Who
bad
gives a
things.
fuck, dude?
Yeah, but,
Who
I need
gives
to
a
say
fuck
that.
about the weaknesses? I don't know. Do you
Yeah.
on the topic of the work-life balance? Do you have like some sort of ideology or like a religion, like on like when this happens, like you don't work? For example, let's say that if the sun is out and the weather is extremely good and it hasn't been good for 3 months, then you're not working, or if it's like the New Year day or like Christmas day, then you're not working. Do you have any certain type of this dogma?
Okay. Some days, like the most important Christmas, New Year's Eve, I'm not gonna work for sure.
Okay.
And apart from that, like even Saturday, Sundays, it's fine as long as, again, as I said, I don't neglect the other parts of my life. And I don't like this work life balance. There's not like a separation. It's like I just do the things that I need to do in order to go where I want to go. And I know that you have like similar opinions on that. So I'm really curious for you to tell me, not in terms of work-life balance, but I think that many people are very obsessed with the fact that they're like a bit religious on the fact that, you know what, I'm only getting paid to work from 9 to 5.
Mm.
So the moment the time goes 5 p.m., poof, they disappear. Whereas some other people, they just like to work anytime, from anywhere, any day. Where do you think this difference in mindsets comes from? And basically, what's your opinion as well on what's the
I think it's
correct?
yeah. I get it. Yeah. Um, I think it's pretty straightforward, right? Like what you work for, you end up getting, and what you chase, this is what you get. You know, if you work for money, then this means that you will get money. Okay, and I think like 99.9999% of people will agree that when you do that, you will soon realize that there is no like long-term joy that you get from it, right? So what happens is that when someone says, "Oh, I'm working 9 to 5," or "I'm just having this job that it happens between these margins, and I know that I'm gonna get paid for it. When I stopped working, I'm going to stop getting paid, and this is like a mini vacation time for me." So it's like people work for 7 8 hours a day to make a living. Respect for that, of course, but then what they think is that since they are not going to get paid for doing anything else, then it's like for them is like uh, it's a negative sum game, you know. So they're not doing anything productive with their time, not even to build not just their material wealth, but also their happiness, you know. And this also enforces the cycle. This continually enforces the cycle. It's like, okay, I'm working for money in order to have money to live and spend money. And it's like you get to a point where 0 equals 0. So it's like, okay, yeah, what are you going to do with it? But when you rewire and you rethink of things, and like, okay, the working for money thing is nonsense. Okay, you quickly come to an infinite loop of bullshit, and then you think, okay, so what else can I work for? Okay, let's say I'm not working for money. All right, I can work for personal happiness. I can work
Yeah,
uh, for
nice, nice.
contribution to society. I can work for, I don't know what else. Okay, and then you try to find other things. So let's say that you choose the work for happiness option. Okay,
Okay.
which means that essentially this means that you do what you love to do. Okay, and then how can you go wrong when you do that, right? There is absolutely 0% chance of going wrong. Like, you do what you love to do, like you won. You know, I think it's pretty obvious to me. And I also think that there's a certain type of, like, when you do things that you love, it's much more it's much easier to tap into a certain type of intelligence that is subconscious, you know. It's like you get into a positive reinforcement cycle that doing what you love gives you enough feedback to improve upon doing what you love, because people that do what they love, they're like, their sole inclination is to do it even better, you know, because they draw extreme happiness from doing things the right way, like in their mind. Okay, so, and the more you do things your way and the right way for you, you get into a positive spiral. Like, you do it even better, you do it better, and you do it better, higher quality, higher quality, higher quality. And then, just because of the fact that technology technology and the environment allows you to build a certain type of online presence, then, like, you are destined to make money from it, you know. And
Okay.
I know it sounds like crossing figures and stuff like that, but let's be realistic. If you really like to make fucking water bottles, okay, from a certain type of glass with your hands, and you upload them on fucking Pinterest and spend 500 euros on Facebook ads, I don't know what the fuck, then like there is one person that will buy a bottle from you, and then you just scale it up from there, you know? So it's not that difficult. But I think, was it you that told me that, or I don't remember. It's like there are no lazy people, that there are only uninspired people, you know?
I
And
wish I told you that. I had told.
yeah, sorry. Yeah. So it's like this saying is this, like there are no lazy people, right? There are only uninspired people. If you are inspired enough, then this means that there are no problems actually. You know, you enjoy every problem, you enjoy every shortcoming, you enjoy every loss, and then you use it as leverage to do even better the next time. I think this is like the most important thing to understand. And
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, and when you do it that over time, like how can you lose, mate? I don't see how can you lose. Like as long as you have like an adequate quality of living, like you have a roof and over your head, and you have food to eat, then you can do what you love and to win. You just win. For me, it's like this. And the way that society is constructed, I think it's very easy, like to go broke and die on the streets. You have to be really unlucky to have this happen to you. Like I don't believe this can happen.
If you had to choose one word to describe your work ethic,
Hmm.
what would that be?
Circumstantially passionate or obsessive. Like I can get obsessed with something, right? And I treat everything as a marathon, first of all. Okay, so when I mean obsessed, I don't mean it in a way that I will latch on an activity and do it for 1 week straight and then I will leave it. Okay, and stop messing around with it. What I mean by obsession is that I will continuously and steadily like devote parts of my time to something that I want to work on. Okay, if I find it that for me it has attracted my curiosity, and it makes me it rewards me for doing it. Okay, so something that is challenging, something that is rewarding, something that uh, has some kind of like intellectual depth behind it. Okay, uh, and if I find something on these lines, then I can work endlessly. I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck. There's no New Year. I worked on New Year's. I don't have a problem. I worked on August vacations. I worked on Christmas. I worked on Passover. I don't give a fuck. The days don't mean anything to me. But if I am uninspired, it can be like Wednesday morning, I'm not going to work. Like the entire planet will be working, and I'm not going to be working.
And for the people that might have like a problem like that, like I know people that can be uninspired, like because they don't enjoy what they do, because they have like, I don't know, personal problems, because I don't know, the sun is not there. How would you, what would you say to these people in order to make them inspired again? Like, should they change this feeling, or should they just accept it, live with it, let it go, and then continue?
I think that if you're uninspired, it comes down to one main thing, is that you haven't tried enough things. All right. So like there are a gazillion things you can try to do, right, to spend your time. And from these gazillion things, I'd say that gazillion things minus 10, you can actually make money from.
Yeah,
All right,
for sure.
because like this is how the economy works, right? If there are people that are interested in something, then you can sell them shit. So if you're uninspired, this probably means that you haven't tried enough things for me. And this was actually, I think this was my case, and I think this is most people's cases. Of course, you can also get uninspired if you're like depressed, or
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
your environment, your family environment is really, really tough on you. But I mean really tough, not these not if you're like a drama queen or something like that, really tough family environments or something like that, then of course, yeah, you can be uninspired. But that's also like what kind of story you're telling to yourself, right? Because like we've all read the stories of people that they've had it really, really tough in their childhoods and family lives, and they grew up to be hugely impactful people, right? And wealthy also, and people love them. I think that if like somebody is watching this right now and they feel that they're uninspired, I would start with first things first is like that you really have to put things into perspective. Take a step back, realize that you're just like to be here, honestly, and you are exponentially more likely to being born during 2017. This is like if that was like 400 years ago, you'd already be dead because like you died from fever. So it's like so this increases your not only chances of success, but also your objective life value. You know, your life is more valuable than it was 400 years ago because the life expectancy is bigger. All right.
Yeah.
So first things first is, yeah, put it in perspective. Like, you were extremely lucky. If you don't feel lucky, then Google like the chances of being born or something like that, or Google stupid things like that, like, and find the kind of number that will inspire you and will make you realize that fuck, this is improbable. What we have going on here, uh, in our galaxy, in our solar system, in our planet, in our human species, in our societies, in our country, in our neighborhood, in our house. This is completely improbable to happen. Like the fact that I am talking to you right now with practically zero delay over 2,500 miles of distance. All right. This is a miracle. This is a fucking miracle. I don't know if you realize it. It's a fucking miracle. And people get obsessed with like, oh, my internet connection is bad. Oh, the shit doesn't work. Oh, my phone sucks. Dude, come on, really? Yeah, dude, you have like the fucking world on your fingertips, right? You know, and you're complaining about fucking dumb shit. So this is the first thing that you have to do if you're uninspired. You have to change your point of focus, right? Now, when you do that, the second thing is that you have to say a big fuck you to your parents, I think, in a gentle way. Because I think this is your parents are probably like the number one pressure point, which which forces you to actually do things that you don't like, and you put on certain acts to please your parents, and you eventually you can never please them, you know, like they're your parents. You'll do everything perfect, and even if you please them, then you haven't pleased yourself, which is like living life on completely wrong terms, in my opinion. So after you say this gentle fuck you to your parents, then you realize that you have freedom, all right? And this means that you can try to do things, all right? Freedom means that you have freedom of choice. Freedom of choice means that you can try different things. I'm sure that most of you watching this already have a certain type of passion, right? You had passion as a child and you just cultivated over time. I had the same passion. I just let it unlock in a way. So I think most people have already have some kind of talent or passion that they actually know about, and then it's just a matter of going all in on that, I believe. And if you have practical problems like that, you have to support a house, you have to bring income and create revenue for yourself and for your loved ones. Then the other thing that you should think is that you have plenty of time, right? So you can use time to your advantage, and don't think that your present situation will dictate your future situation, right? So if you eat shit for a couple of years until you get your own thing going on, from my financial point of view, then this is worth it, because you had just created leverage to eat caviar for the rest of your life, even though you just ate shit for 2 years, or like. So I think so. This is like a practical thing, but starting out, I think you should really be practical about it and put financial things first until you get security from it, and then you can start to dream big. So yeah, how to start manifesto.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that was nice. I had a question at some point, but then I got deep into what you were saying, so I forgot it now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I like this. I like the podcast. It's good. It's a good podcast.
I think it's a podcast that we are touching. We started with my birthday, and like we touch almost as many aspects of life as possible.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and that's like the nice thing of having something like which happens real time instead of talking on the camera on your own.
Yeah. I agree. When you do videos, I was curious. I've never asked you about it. Like, you shoot a video, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts? Like, do you think like you're talking to a friend? Do you think that you're talking to an audience? Do you think that you're talking to yourself? Or what goes to your mind, like when you look at the camera?
Honestly, I have absolutely no idea. I would say, because I think I have sent you the first video I've ever shot, which was I had behind me the sea, and I was really, really nervous on what I was saying.
Yeah, I remember.
Which was like more than like 3-4 years ago, I think. And I remember myself, I saw the video, like I spent 2 hours there shooting the video again and again and again, because I was doing a grammatical error or whatever, and it was in Greek, not in English, that I do mistakes all the fucking time. Okay. That goes without saying. But nowadays I think that I've done it a lot of times, and I just required in a way my brain. So I think there is a way, and I figured this cheat, if you will, like a few months ago. If you notice, all of my videos start with the same way. Hey guys, what is up? This is Yannis, Motivation Addict. The moment I say this, I don't know, my brain is wired that go.
It just clicks, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, let's say that it builds momentum into me, and then it just flows, because I put myself into this mode. Like I don't know how else to explain it. That's in terms of video. In terms of speeches, it's like the feeling from
Yeah,
the
it's
people.
physical. Yeah. It's physical. Have you ever considered doing a webinar?
Yeah,
Will you
yeah.
soon, or it's like on the back of your head?
I think I have some other priorities right now in terms of business. So it's definitely one of the things I want to have to do. But I guess after 2018, I'll have some.
After 2018. Okay. I'm
But for the
waiting for
moment
it.
being, there are some other priorities that need to be made, like, for example, the fucking website. So let's start with that. And when the website is ready, we can discuss the rest.
Yeah. All right. I
Right.
think we should wrap it up. I'm a bit tired, to be honest.
Yep.
Yep.
Final thoughts.
I'm tired. I'm just tired.
So, final thought is that whatever your state is, even if you are tired, make sure to do
You
the
have
things
to
that you are
state your state.
change your state, and everything will
No,
change.
not change. You have to state your state.
Either I don't know English.
You don't know state. You make a statement.
Ah,
Yeah, you state your state. You have to state your state.
yeah, and then accept it for sure. Like,
Now
and the
I
thing
told
that,
you I'm tired and like I also have more energy. I got it out of me, you know. It's like it's good. It's out there now. It's in the clouds.
okay, now I get you. Κατάλαβα.
All right.
So yeah. For example, let's close with this on the bright note. You said that you are tired and you had a day in work and you still did the podcast. Today it's my birthday and I still did the podcast. And you will have in your life minutes, moments, hours, days that you don't want to do things, that you don't feel like it. But when you have a responsibility to yourself and to the people around you, then I think that no matter what happens on the outside, you should perform and do the things that you need to do. Yes, of course, from time to time, you should also remember to accept how you feel. So if you're sad, embrace it,
I
share it.
have a great idea. Can I please? I want to add something.
Yes.
I think it's a golden nugget. You said like work. Even
Strati, is it also a magic pill?
magic pill. Yeah. No, it's a golden nugget. Just a golden nugget. It's a way of thinking on things, right? So you said that you have to work even though you don't feel like it at some point, and then when you feel like it, then you have to stop and you have to gauge like what's your situation, okay? And many people do that. I think there are two pillars, all right? The one pillar is about working hard, and the other pillar is about working smart, all right? When you're not willing to, yeah, exactly, yeah, like milking a cow, right? And this goes on Instagram DM also for our lovable fans.
Feel free to
So
share it. I won't.
yeah. So if you're not willing to work hard, then you have to know how to work smart. Okay, so we have a saying in Greek that the person who doesn't have a brain has legs to use, you know. So it's like exactly, yeah. If you don't have like the mental capacity to like to 10x your results in the same time, think of like Timothy Ferris, right? Think of Tim Ferris. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
To 10x, eh?
10x, yeah, exactly. And the think of like Timothy Ferris, like he does all the things very efficiently, very effectively, and stuff like that. if you don't have the mental capacity to do it or the access to the resources to do it, then you have to work very hard to achieve the same result. But if you have the capacity and you also know, like, you do strategic and predictable and consistent moves over time, then I think that it's safe to assume that you don't have to work as hard to achieve a certain result, right? But you have to be like, you have to be brutally honest with yourself, like how talented and smart am I to achieve the results that I want, right? And then you have to think about the future, like, if I do these things, will I get my result? Do I have to do things? Do I have to do more things, or do I have to do different things? Okay, so this will tell you, like, where to give your attention to. And I think this is the end of the podcast for me.
Perfect. I agree. But I also want to add before we end that there's another thing which at least it's powerful in my mindsets is integrity. And in integrity, not in terms of the other people, which is something important, but mostly with yourself. Like, it's integrity with your life values, with your mindsets, and with your goals. Because if you want, to become like a millionaire, and as Gary says, you don't work on Sundays, you're not going to become a millionaire. Or you will, but very, very late in your age. So always respect your values. That's something really essential for me. So yeah, I think we talk almost 1 hour and 20 minutes. I think we beat. Is that the biggest podcast we've done?
I don't know. It feels big. The podcast, Yanni. The podcast is big. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, bro. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure to fucking subscribe, like, share it with your friends. If you like what we say, we would highly appreciate if you can share it with your friend and let him join as well, the tribe. So without further ado, thank you very much from me. And we'll see you as always next week on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Greek time.
Greek time. See you guys. Bye-bye.